Hello?
Okay, we're starting?
Yeah.
I think we're good. Like, the microphone right here, right?
Hopefully. Maybe we should stop and play it back.
No, I can make it louder.
Okay.
There. So I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
We should leave that in.
Gross. Cringy. Alright. So, my name is Scarlet.
My name is HeavenLeigh.
And
welcome to our podcast.
Our first podcast.
Welcome to our podcast, guys.
We don't have a name for it.
We don't. We're going to talk about murder. All things. Murder. Well, not just murder.
Crime.
Yeah, crime. Yeah. Disappearance.
It can be like solved or unsolved. It could be conspiracies.
I love conspiracies.
Anything that has to do with crime or like creepy stuff.
Ew. We should do an episode about aliens.
Do you believe in aliens?
I do.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Okay, me too. I don't want to seem like the only like crazy one or something. Awesome.
Okay.
Oh, so do you want to go first? Do you want to tell me your story first, or do you want me to tell my story first?
You just want to hop into it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
So you're going to tell your story first?
Yeah, I'll tell my story
first. I'm excited.
Okay, so my story is about the murder of Sylvia Likens.
Never. I don't think I've heard of her.
Really? There's a movie. So. There's a movie. It has Ellen Page. Love that movie.
Is it the one where she kills like child predators or something?
No. No.
I only know like that one and Juno.
I love Juno, but no, this is not that.
I'm like, it's not Juno, definitely.
Okay, so so in 1965 in Indianapolis, her parents were carnies, and they needed someone to watch their children while they went on the road, I guess.
Yeah. So
they left Sylvia and her sister with Gertrude Benziowski? I don't know how to say
something white.
Yeah. So we're just going to call her Gertrude.
Okay.
She lived in Indianapolis, and she had 7 children.
7?
Yes.
Oh.
Gertrude took in the children to earn extra money for the summer because the parents were gonna pay Gertrude $20 a week.
Mm-hmm.
So when Sylvia was 16 and her sister, who was a year younger, they were brought to Gertrude in the summertime. Ginny was disabled and couldn't move very much, and Sylvia was a normal teenage girl. They went to Gertrude because Paula, her oldest daughter, was one of Sylvia's best friends.
Okay.
Okay, so the first week of their stay, the two girls were looked upon by Gertrude and all her family. They were settling in well, and it seemed like Sylvia and her sister were kind of spoiled. But since Gertrude and her family didn't have a lot of money, they had a lot of kids that, they were kind of treated differently.
Yeah.
So one day, I think like a couple of weeks later, the parents had missed their payment just by a couple of days. Like, it got lost in the mail for a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
And so Gertrude forced the two girls upstairs and beat their bottoms so bad, bare bottoms so bad that they blistered and bruised. And that was the first time Sylvia was beaten out of many.
Oh, right, because she was spoiled.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, they didn't have much to eat, so they ate a lot of soup and sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
Just
boring.
Yeah, boring, poor food, pretty much. And so that's kind of like all they got to eat ever, so they kind of starved, I guess. They were all very, very thin. So the money that had gotten lost had arrived the next day. And it says, the money had arrived the next day, but having perhaps convinced herself that the girl's parents had cheated her out of the proper payment, Gertrude's resentment bubbled over. So she was very, sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
She did it. Whatever.
Fake.
Yeah, really. Whenever she was in the same room as Sylvia or Jenny, the increasingly vicious foster mother verbally and physically abused them. Mm-hmm. Later, when the case went to trial, she admitted to beating them so hard that her hands blistered and hurt.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Wait, the one who beat them?
Mm-hmm.
Her hands got blistered.
Mm-hmm. Because she beat them so hard. So just imagine.
I can only imagine
your butt.
Oh my god. I wouldn't even have one. The little I have right now would be gone.
Yeah, whatever. It says, Sylvia's bare buttocks were paddled with a rough wooden board, which cut her flesh and left scars.
Oh my god.
Before that, it says, Sylvia became the favorite target of regular punishments that revealed Gertrude's sadistic nature. Sylvia's bare butt was paddled with a rough wooden board, which cut her flesh and left scars. Gertrude's children were encouraged to assault Sylvia. Their friends were also invited to come to the house and use her as a punching bag.
Oh my god, I think I do know. Is it the movie
An
Girl
American
Next Door?
Crime.
Oh. Different movie.
No! Girl Next Door.
Yeah.
What's that?
God. Girl Next Door. It's really sad, and it involves children. Basically, I think this... Okay, so I don't know what her name is, but she's a niece to one of the ladies that lives in that neighborhood. And she goes to live with her because her parents died. And her aunt is, like, terrible, and, like, she abuses her so much. And one day, like, she gets tired of her, and she locks her in the basement and ties her up. Like, her hands are, like, from one wall to the other, and she's standing on books. So each time she behaves or whatever, they take a book out. So she's on her tippy toes, and, like, her arms are being, like, stretched and hold on to. And the aunt she invites, like, her children, her boys, and her boys' friends to come and beat and abuse the girl. And, like, it's such a sad movie.
Oh my
but
God.
It's really dark, but you should really
was,
watch it.
It's not this. How?
It sounds kind of similar, though.
Yeah, it does. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Their friends were invited to use as a punching bag. With the foster mother looking on, these juvenile thugs hit and kicked Sylvia and whipped her with any items that came into their hand. When she begged Gertrude for them to stop, the depraved creature only laughed and urged the fellow tormentors onto greater levels of abuse.
Oh my
God.
God.
They just kept going and kept going.
Dang. And she was, like, naked.
Yeah, she had, like, very little clothing.
Ugh.
Like, probably underwear and a t-shirt. Or sometimes, well, we'll get to that, but sometimes, like, not even underwear. And sometimes not even a shirt, because we'll get to that, too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No thanks.
One youth with some judo training used Sylvia as a kind of practice dummy, quote unquote.
What the heck?
Yeah. He threw her against the walls and down the staircases and tried chokeholds on her, and on one occasion knocked her unconscious with her broom handle.
How did she not die already?
Well, she only lived, so they moved in, like, I think it said June, and she passed away in, I want to say October. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
She was only 16. 16 years old.
Awful.
Yeah.
I would not want to go that way. I would want, like, a really fast death.
Yeah, I know.
Not something that leads up to it.
I know.
That's crazy.
So, look, I don't know if you want to see them, but that's Gertrude.
Oh my God.
And that's one of the kids from down the street.
He looks like... Oh, they look evil.
Yeah.
They look like they would
She looks
do that.
like...
They look like serial killers.
I mean, yeah. He looks like, have you ever seen Christmas Story? The old Christmas movie?
No.
Oh my God,
but
that's
you
what
know
he
what he
looks
reminds me of? He reminds me of that actor with the eyebrows. He's in the Maze Runner.
Wow.
He's in the Maze Runner.
Yes,
I don't know his name.
Yes, I know. He's from Narnia.
Yes. That's what he looks like, but with glasses.
That's funny. Oh, that's good. Yeah, he does look like that. Okay, so it says, so Gertrude, she ordered the children to put their cigarettes out on Sylvia's arms and legs and stuff, pretty much all over her body. But hold on, why are they even smoking their children?
Yeah, but this is like the 60s.
Yeah, but I mean, still.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, like back then, like, you know, cigarettes are like the thing, you know.
I guess.
But
I guess, you know what, my dad, like, my dad was born in 71.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, he was smoking from a young age. But.
Yeah, like, they encouraged it. Like, if you did it, you're cool, you're grown up now.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, but, like, have you ever been burned?
No. Praise God.
Not from a cigarette, but, like, just in general.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, I have, like, burn scars somewhere.
Yeah, it's
right here. You can't really see it.
Yeah. Like, it, oh my god, it hurts so much. I could only imagine, like, what the actual...
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's called. But the actual thing. Not
the
just
cigarette.
the ash. You know what I mean? The part you like.
The end.
The end, yeah. We don't know any names.
No,
We're not factual at all. We have 2 brain cells.
Yeah, my 2 brain cells had just left this group chat.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Paula, Gertrude's oldest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
One time punched Sylvia with enough force it broke the bones in her own hand.
Wait, but wasn't she being beaten too?
Sylvia...
Oh, it was
Gertrude,
Sylvia's
No.
sister.
No, Gertrude had 7 kids.
Okay, yeah.
Paula was her oldest kid.
Yeah, but wasn't Sylvia with her sister or with Paula?
No, Sylvia was Paula's best friend. Paula, or vice versa. But Sylvia's sister was Jenny.
Oh yeah, what happened to Jenny?
She's just seeing all this happen.
Dude, it's literally like that movie. I swear.
Yeah. Well,
it's probably, inspired by it.
Yeah, inspired, yeah.
Okay, but Paula did what?
So she punched her so hard in the face that it broke the bones in her own hand.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
And then after being treated by a doctor and having her hand put into a plaster cast, Paula used the heavy cast to beat Sylvia in the face even more.
What the heck?
So I don't know what kind of idiot would punch someone with their own broken hand, but Sylvia.
Weren't they friends? What the heck?
I don't. Well,
I guess the mom brainwashed them.
No.
Happens a lot, right?
Well,
I mean,
we haven't gotten there yet.
Look at cults.
Yeah,
brainwashing exists.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being part of a cult.
But what kind of cult are you talking about?
It just depends.
I don't want to.
Okay, let's see. Okay. A neighbor who visited Gertrude several times while Sylvia was being abused recalled seeing that Sylvia was increasingly bruised and battered. Each time the woman came and visited, Paula invariably claimed with disturbingly gleeful pride to be the author of the girl's wounds and abrasions. Often she beat or whipped Sylvia in front of the neighbor.
Oh my god. And the neighbor didn't do anything?
I'm guessing.
I mean, would you get involved if you saw that?
Oof. Yeah.
You would?
Yeah. I mean, you can call anonymously.
That's true.
And I mean, there were so many people.
Was that an option back then?
Oh, I don't know.
Because it is now, right?
Yeah, but I don't know now. I don't know back then.
And then, if they find out it's you, they're going to do the same thing to you.
Yeah, because they lived in a very small town in Indianapolis. I could only imagine just...
I mean, they would know it was her. Cause, is she the only one coming over?
No. I mean, she had, the whole neighborhood pretty much coming and beating Sylvia.
And nobody did anything?
No one did anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
How the times have changed.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
Dude.
Yeah. Like, you can't even spank your own child now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets on your ass because of that.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, like, I don't, like, obviously there's an extent to beating your child and giving them a spanking because they did something they 100%. Were not supposed to.
Yeah, I agree.
I do not condone child abuse, but I'm not opposed to a butt busting because your child was being bad.
Right.
Like, if okay, say you had a child and you're walking around Target, Walmart, wherever, and your child is screaming at the top of their lungs.
Right, you wouldn't beat him.
No.
You'd be like, shut up, and like, I don't know, like, give him a slap.
I would grab that child by the arm, take it to the bathroom, and, you know, spank on the butt a couple of times with my own hand.
Too far?
No, they're screaming all the way to the bathroom because they know what's about to happen. And I'm not saying, like, I'm going to beat them so hard and I'm going to leave bruises on their butt. Yeah. But, like,
it's a discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot let your child just run around screaming all day.
Yeah. And I can't believe there's people that don't discipline their children because they believe it's child abuse, and it's not.
Yeah. It's really not. You know what? If that was the case, then why do kids get sent to, like, military school?
Right.
And, I mean, they're not abusing them, but it's a rule enforcement. That's what that is. So there's physical aspect to, like, spanking your child, and I don't know,
like there's a line, and you can't cross that line, you know. Yeah, when you're disciplining your child.
Yeah, you should know when
to stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, if your child is looking at you with the fear of God in their face,
then it's time to stop.
Yes.
Like my mom would always, she had this belt.
Like, I got the belt too.
Yeah, but, like, hers had, like, rings in it.
Mine did too!
Okay, and she would tell me, if you get hit by this, blood is gonna come out. And one time, I was always scared, like, I don't want to get hit by that belt. I'm gonna bleed. One time, she got super mad. Like, I don't know what I did. I was a terrible child. So she hit me with that belt, and no blood came out. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay, Mom, you freaking liar. But, like, because of that belt, I never acted worse.
Yeah.
Because I was so scared of it.
Yeah. I know one time, we had a belt, and there were 7 of us. Like, so I'm a child of 7, and
you're like Sylvia.
Yeah, really. And I know I was being beaten in the basement. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have a basement.
We're in Texas. Basements don't exist.
So we had a specific belt that my dad would wear, and that was our, like, if we got in trouble, we knew we were getting the belt. Yeah. It's going to be used with like that belt.
Satan's belt.
Yeah. And then, so that was our regular belt, you know, like, if we get in trouble, whatever. But we had a second belt. So that was for, like, if you literally were the spawn of Satan that day, you are getting this belt. And it had little, so it was a 100% leather belt, and it had these little metal clips, and it looked like huge wood staples. That's what it looked like. And so, I mean, like, so here's the belt, and it went like this. So there was a metal piece right here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Oh, and it went all the way up, like, the sides, but it looked like staples were inside of it. And so
everybody was so scared of it.
Yes! Everyone was terrified of that belt because, like,
I would too.
Why would you want to be hit with that? And then, like, my mom, she used to always keep, like, wooden spoons in the car or something. But one time, oh my gosh, one time my brother was being so bad, and she whipped that spoon out, and she, like, reached in the back and whacked him, and the spoon broke on his car seat. It wasn't on the car seat, it was on the seat, like, the seatbelt metal, like, the plastic seatbelt. Oh my god, and I was laughing so hard, and half of it just flew to the front and the other half just flew to the back. And I was like, Mom, you broke it. And she was so mad, but it was so funny. And I was laughing.
Oh,
I remember I was
God.
laughing so hard that day.
I never got hit with a wooden spoon.
Oh, that was one of our other things. I think one time my mom even threatened to hang her. Yeah.
Like the metal ones?
No, just like, I'm gonna hate you if you don't stop.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I got threatened by a lot of items. I can't name them all, but I think I was only hit with, like, the sandal.
Oh, the chancla.
The chancla.
My mom, she hit my brothers with that, too.
Yeah, and then, like, belts. And, like, my mom's hands, you know. The thing I liked is that she never let my dad hit us. Because, you know, obviously, they'll probably hit harder.
Yeah.
You know. But he did hit me once with the chancla, and it did hurt, and it left me a mark. And my mom got so pissed at him that she forgot what I did, and she just ended up being mad at him. And then, like, when was it? Like a couple months ago, I reminded him of that. I was little, and then I was like, Dad, I still haven't forgiven you after what you did. And he was like, I don't even remember doing that. I was like, I was the only child you hit. But yeah, I'm telling you, it was terrible.
Yeah. Dang.
Continue.
Times have changed.
Right?
Okay. So yeah. It says, sadly, quote, and I quote, sadly, like so many other people who saw what was happening, the neighbor said nothing to anyone who might have saved Sylvia, end quote. So
Dang.
A lot of people saw what was going on, and no one said anything.
It just pisses you off.
Yeah,
nobody did anything.
Because you could have saved her. Like
yes.
they could have freaking saved her.
So many people could have done something.
Yeah,
and nobody did it. Wow.
So it says, with an incredible hypocrisy, Gertrude, who had gone through a string of failed romances and a couple of illegitimate children, whose favorite daughter, Paula, was pregnant with a married man's baby. So, Gertrude then labeled Sylvia a whore. She told many people that Sylvia was not only promiscuous, but pregnant. So they started spreading rumors that...
About Sylvia.
Yeah, about Sylvia. Even though, like, literally no one's seen her other than them beating her in the basement. Which is wild. So Sylvia was stripped naked and forced to dance and perform lewd acts in front of Gertrude's youthful, her cronies. I don't know what that is, but
her children. I don't know.
Sylvia was made to insert a soda bottle into her vag on at least 2 different occasions.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sylvia's crotch and genital area was thumped and kicked so often so viciously that that hardened medical examiners were later shocked by the number of injuries in that region. And I read earlier when I was researching that someone said it looked like hamburger meat.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude, it hurts me and it's not even happening to me.
I know.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to spoil it for me, but I hope those people went to jail or something, and that they suffered.
We'll get there.
I hope they suffered.
So it says these particular beatings probably made it harder for her to control her bladder. When she went to bed, she often wet the bed.
Yeah.
Sylvia was told that she didn't deserve to live with decent people, and that she was tied up and confined in the basement for everyone else, so they can live better lives, pretty much. The girl was... Sylvia was only released when Gertrude or the child thugs wished to beat her. So that's the only time she got to escape or get out of the basement.
Yeah.
When anyone else wanted to beat her.
That's... Oh my God.
She was kept naked or near naked for the amusement of the young savages who enjoyed throwing her around on the concrete floors and repeatedly forcing her to climb the stairs so that they could hurl her down the steps. The use of toilet was denied, and Sylvia's torturers accused her of being a dirty person and often threw her in the bathtub full of scalding hot water.
Oh my god.
So just imagine, like, being all bruised and scraped and cut, and then
being thrown in there.
Yeah, no. A dim-witted neighbor, Rick Hobbs, which is that guy that I showed you a picture of, the one that looked like the guy
eyebrow.
Yeah. So Rick Hobbs was directed to heat needles and used them to brand the girl's stomach with the words, "I am a prostitute and proud of it."
Oh my god.
Gertrude started the lettering and ordered Hobbs to finish. This horrible torture completed, then Gertrude released full fiendish fury of her nature, beating the girl, slamming her head against the basement wall with such force that Sylvia Likens received injuries that the ultimate... Oh, wait, let me read that again. This horrible torture completed when Gertrude released the full fiendish fury of her nature, beating the girl, slamming her head against the basement wall with such force that Sylvia Likens received the injuries that ultimately extinguished her life. So that's what killed her. Ultimately, the beating of her against the wall.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Give me a headache.
That's awful.
Not content with just physical torture, they taunted Sylvia, telling her that she'd never be able to marry because of the words on her body. Sylvia was made to write a letter to her parents, which she confessed to sharing sexual favors with a gang of boys and blamed all her wounds, burns, and the hideous messages on her flesh upon these non-existent individuals. So she...
Wow.
Yeah.
She was living literal hell.
Yeah. Gertrude developed a plan to have Sylvia dumped, dead or alive, in a remote rural area, that the letter would be proof that she and her accomplices were innocent of any wrongdoing. Did you want to see that picture now?
Okay, yeah. I want to see it. Oh my god. That's her?
Yeah, that is her.
Poor girl. She was living in hell. Like, how? I can't believe that they did this to her.
Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I picked a bad story. A horrible story.
It's a very dark story, but it's interesting. That is, oh my god. It also makes me kind of angry that, I mean, obviously, even if a man had did this to her, it would be awful, but, like, for it to be a woman that started it.
Yeah, really.
It makes you so mad.
Yeah.
Like,
we're almost done. Okay, it says, while Sylvia was bound in the basement, a social worker was called to investigate an anonymous report of a girl with running sores on her body. She was told that Sylvia did indeed have sores on her body and the result of her own bad personal hygiene. And that Gertrude had thrown her out of the house because she had become a prostitute. Clearly,
did they believe her?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, no!
Yeah, they did believe her. And so that's how they got, like, away with it for a little bit longer. Because I'm about to tell you their sentences in a minute. So it says, clearly, they were preparing to rid themselves of their victim. They had an alibi, and nobody had contradicted any of the tales that had spun this far.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia realized that her days were numbered, and if she didn't escape, she made a desperate attempt to get out of the house, but she was caught and beaten into unconsciousness. For a while, she was treated with a bizarre mixture of outright brutality and warped kindness. She was offered crackers and sandwiches when Gertrude became frightened of all the consequences of all the beatings. Yet one of the younger abusers made her drink urine and eat poop.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
How young? Okay, what were the ages of the abusers? Like, the oldest was obviously the lady.
Yeah, let me...
But how old was the youngest?
Let me see. Oh, the very, very youngest, the boy, his name, pretty sure his name was Danny. He was a baby.
like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, hoping he was not 4. Because, like...
No. I mean, he was an infant.
But he wasn't an abuser.
No, because he was an infant.
Yeah. I meant, like, which ones were, like, beating her and stuff.
Oh, okay. So Gertrude was the mother of the girl's new friend, Paula, age 17, and Paula's 6 siblings, Stephanie, 15, John, 12, Marie, 11, Shirley, 10, James, 8, and Dennis was a few months old. So that was the baby, not
so
Danny,
an 8-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm. James.
Oh my god.
Yep.
They're all psychopaths. Like,
yeah.
Even if their mom made them do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's hard to go against your mom, like what your mom says.
Yeah.
But
But I feel like I would know better.
Yeah. I would feel so guilty.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Their mind is, like, probably all, like...
jacked up and warped.
Yes.
Ugh.
That's so crazy. 8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell me about their sentencing.
Okay. So we're getting to where she was found.
Oh,
so while Sylvia was bound in the basement... Oh, sheesh, we already read that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they inflicted so much hurt on her that they must have known that she would die. Yet they put her in the bathtub and allowed her to sleep upstairs in a bed. Though she was tied to the bedpost and denied to use the toilet. Then she, unsurprisingly, wet the bed again. Mm-hmm. Sylvia was given another painful lesson by her sadistic tutors. Neighbors heard Sylvia hitting the walls of the basement with a shovel. And some of them thought about complaining to the authorities about all the sleep they'd lost, but no one actually did complain.
Oh my god.
The next day, Sylvia was placed in the bathtub again, and she became very quiet, and her jailers realized that she was dead. Police were told that Sylvia had been an uncontrollable, promiscuous tearaway. Gertrude produced the letter that she had found Sylvia, or forced Sylvia to write, stated that Sylvia had returned to the house after a sex session with some boys. According to her version of the events, the gang had followed Sylvia back to the house, mutilated her, and killed her. Gertrude said she found the girl dead in the basement. I bet she was in the bathtub.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't
They
know.
probably moved her?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Oh my, they literally beat her until she died.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Of course, she had neglected to say that her offspring had been primed with some bogus tale before the police were called. When the investigator, Melvin Dixon, came to the house, all of the children, including Jenny Likens, repeated Gertrude's story word for word. Dixon was understandably shocked by Sylvia's bruised and battered body, and he took down the details of the accounts offered by Gertrude's family, and was about to leave when Jenny managed to whisper to him, "Get me out of here and I'll tell you the whole story."
So they didn't want to do it. They were forced to beat her, right?
Well, Jenny. I don't think Jenny really ever beat her. Because, I mean, it's her sister. And I know in the movie that Jenny, like, kind of forced them to stop sometimes. But I don't think that ever actually happened. But I don't know. I mean, we weren't alive to tell. Despite the protest of Gertrude and her clan, the officers took the girl away and quickly learned the truth. The sadistic foster mother was charged with murder, convicted, and given a life sentence. She gained a new trial on appeal, but was again convicted and sent back to prison. Although she gave many interviews to writers and journalists from behind the bars, she never expressed any genuine remorse, nor did she ever come close to offering any explanations for her bizarre and cruel acts. To those who sought to discover her reasons, Gertrude would say, "I had to teach her a lesson." But what was the lesson?
There was a lesson.
No.
She was just a punching bag.
Yeah. Like, it's not her, it's not Sylvia's fault that you're messed up, dude. It's not your fault. I mean, it's not her fault.
Oh my god. She should have been put, like, into, like, a mental hospital or something. A long time ago.
Yeah. She shouldn't have had so many kids. That's what's up.
I know.
Because then all her kids are going to be messed up. But like, whatever.
They probably are. Or they probably were.
The children who helped torture and kill Sylvia Likens were given incredibly short sentences. Their lawyers skillfully laid most of the blame upon Gertrude, which I understand, but
but they still did it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like it kind of reminds me of Lord of the Flies. I don't know if you ever read the book.
Yeah, I watched the movie. I didn't read the book.
Yeah, well, just like madness takes control, and like
that's when they're like eating each other, right?
Yeah, they just start liking it, and they keep doing it, and they're not being forced to.
Yeah,
it's
just fun.
Yeah, I mean, they've been controlled to, and they've been told to, but
they never got in trouble for it either.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they can literally get away with murder.
Yeah.
And it'd be just fine.
And, like, let's say the mom gets mad at them, whatever. They can take out their anger, their frustration, or whatever on her. So,
which I'm pretty sure
they find relief.
That happened a few times.
Yeah, probably. Wow. I think that they deserve to be beaten just as bad as they beat her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so it says that everything was pretty much blamed upon Gertrude because she'd been the only adult really involved.
Yeah.
Despite her attempts to claim that she was a prostrate on her sick bed, dubbing the worst beatings and acts of torture. Most onlookers had expected her to receive the death sentence. In 1985. Amidst much public protest, she was released upon parole. For 5 years, she lived quietly under an assumed name before dying of lung cancer.
Wow.
Oh, listen to this! Quote, I quote, Jack Ketchum's disturbing novel, The Girl Next Door, was adapted for the big screen in 2007. The film about the sadistic torture and murder of an innocent orphaned girl is brutal and extremely challenging to watch, end quote.
It was mentally draining, but it was so good.
Yeah, so there is my murder, Sylvia Likens.
Dang, my story is nothing compared to that. my story isn't like that brutal, that mentally draining, because, wow. Just pissed me off. That just pisses me off. I just have a lot of feelings right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I need some pizza now.
Do you want to take a break?
No, let's keep going. We can get a pizza after.
Alright.
Yes.
Alright, okay.
So, what do you got? Ready? Scarlet.
Okay, so I have the Sodderchildren, which you told me you haven't heard of, which is great.
No, I have not.
So, basically it's unsolved, and it's super weird, and nothing makes sense, and it just, I don't know. So, it takes place... Why are you laughing?
Because my teeth hit the glass. Cut that out. Maybe not. I don't know.
No, keep it in. Okay, so it takes place in 1945.
Oh, wow. That's the year Sylvia was born.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, no, it's
what are
not.
the chances?
I don't know.
If it happened in the 60s...
Wait, she was born in 55? Excuse me.
Oh, close enough. Anyway, so it happened in Christmas Eve.
Oh.
The day before Christmas. So sad. In Fayetteville, West Virginia. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's okay.
Yeah, I said Gertrude's family the whole time because I couldn't say their last name.
It's okay. We don't know how to speak English. It's fine. Anyway, so basically, it's his family. So it's not 7 children, but it's 9 children.
God bless. Like rabbits.
Right? So it's the father, George, the mother, Jenny, and then the children, which is Sylvia, Marion, John, George Jr., Maurice, Louis, Betty, Martha, and Jenny. There's another
wow.
Jenny, another Sylvia.
Yeah, wow.
So I have their ages, which I'll be telling later. But, okay. So it was Christmas Eve, and they were all asleep. And at 1 a.m., a fire started. Just a random fire. So George and Jenny, the mother and father, they got out of the house, and 4 children got out too. And 5 of them stayed inside the house. So,
Did they, like, burn up and die?
I'll get to that. Oh. So the kids that stayed inside, it was 5 of them, they shared 2 bedrooms, and it was upstairs. So George, obviously being a dad, he went to go back to rescue, but he noticed that the stairs were on fire, so he couldn't go upstairs. So instead, he went outside, and he was going to get his ladder, but it was missing. It wasn't there where he usually put it. But normally, like, sometimes we place things somewhere, and we just forget where we put them. So the ladder was missing, so his idea instead was to get on top of his coal trucks.
Coal trucks?
Coal trucks. Imagine that next to a fire.
Oh, how...
Not a good idea, but so he was going to climb on one of them to get to the 2nd floor, but they weren't starting. And he had no idea why, So, while that was happening, Marion, she was 17. She's one of the children that did get out. She went to a neighbor's house so they could call the fire department, because obviously her house was on fire. She couldn't call it themselves. But the fire department didn't answer. And so she went to another neighbor, and they called, but still no response. So we don't know where the fire department's at. So that 2nd neighbor that called, they drove to town, and they found a fire chief.
Wait.
Okay.
How do you not know where the fire... Like, this just hit me. I've been listening, but, like, how do you not know where the fire department is?
No, like, they weren't answering the phone. Nobody was...
But why?
We don't know. Just nobody was answering. So, like, that's why the neighbor went to the fire department to go, like, check out what's going on.
No, but this house is already, like, burned down to the ground already, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But, like, then again, like, it is Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, I mean, they're firefighters.
Yeah.
They have to be on duty.
Yeah, I would assume.
So, yeah, the neighbor found the fire chief, F.J. Morris, which, here's the really weird thing. So, the fire department, it's only 2.5 miles away from the Sodder house. 2.5. Okay, like, my mentality is, if something's 15 miles away, then you'll be there in around 15 minutes, more or less.
Yeah.
If there's no traffic, if you're going, like,
speed
limit.
Because you're only 11 miles away from my work where I come.
And you got here in, like...
And I got here in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no excuse.
And it's 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... the firefighters, they got to the house at 8 a.m. 7 hours after the fire started. So, okay, like, maybe, like, the first hour, they were trying to contact the fire department, they finally get it, but they should come immediately, not 7 hours after.
So they got there on Christmas morning.
Pretty much. And when they arrived, the house was literally ash. It was ash already.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no point in going.
So all those kids.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The remains of 5 children were never found in the ashes. Yeah. So they were presumed dead because of the fire, even though there's, like, no proof. And F.J. Morris said, quote, "Fire may have been so hot it cremated children's bodies.
No, but
even the bones."
No, like, I mean, yeah, fire can get some bones, but not all of it.
And I'll get to that. Okay. So yeah, obviously not accurate because, like, even in animals, like, when you burn an animal, there's gonna be bone left.
Yeah. My parents,
Obviously.
they live on a freaking farm. They burn everything.
Yeah, and there was obviously no bones found in the ashes, and there was also no smell of burning flesh.
That's
like after or before or during the fire. So obviously, like, a body wasn't burned. And I don't know if you've smelled like a dying, burning animal. Have you?
Well, I've smelled burning flesh. Like, okay, well, I smelled burning hair from, like, Flatiron. Well, or, like, I know I, like, burned my arm before, like, on a cookie sheet.
It smells disgusting. Like, okay, I had my cousin come over once, and she had a bunny. And, okay, she's one of the type of people that just, you cannot give her a pet, because she will kill it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But basically, she was playing with the bunny a lot. She was carrying it. You know, you're not supposed to carry bunnies a lot because you'll stress them out. Well, any animal, right? You're not supposed to carry them all the time. And I guess, like, it got so stressed out that it died. So she put it in a shoebox. And I don't know why, but she burned it. And it smelled so bad. I was like, put that out. It stinks. Oh, my God. And, like, I felt so bad for the bunny, even though it was already dead. But, like, why burn it, you know?
Yeah, just bury it.
It smelled so disgusting.
Gross. I know, like, okay, so my parents, they live on, like, a farm, like I said. And they have a little river that runs in the back. And they shoot, do you know what neutral rat is?
No.
A swamp rat.
A swamp?
Swamp rat. Yeah. That thing is literally as big as me.
Ew.
And it is nasty. And it has a tail as long as that couch. Like a rat. It's literally a beaver and a rat.
Ew.
Yeah, and they swim in the little creek that's in my parents'... Yes, it's so ugly and scary and gross. But my brothers, they're like... I guess they're huge rodents. Like,
yeah.
They destruct all kinds of stuff that in the creek, whatever. And so my brothers, they shoot them, and then they have like this huge bonfire, and then they just throw them and they just burn them. But those things are disgusting and huge.
That's gross.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't smelled it, but I can imagine.
Yeah, it smells awful.
Anyways,
so the cause of the fire, it was deemed bad wiring. So I mean, it's the 40s. Bad wiring.
Yeah, I guess
it could make sense, right? And then like a week after, Fayetteville coroner's office issued death certificates to the 5 children, even though their bodies were never found. But I mean, they were presumed dead. But, so the basement of the house still remained, right? Because, I mean, I guess, like, the whole house entirely didn't burn down. And then George, he later covered it up with a bulldozer with 5 feet of dirt as a memorial. So, like, a foot of dirt per child that was lost, because it was 5. And after the fire, George and Jenny suspected that the kids were kidnapped and not dead. They believed that the fire was set as a diversion.
What? That, like, if you, they already have death certificates though. Like,
yeah, but they never found bodies. Like, not even bone. They never found like any proof that they did die.
That's so.
They just were never found. So that's why they were like, they were probably kidnapped, and the fire was just a diversion.
Yeah, but who would kidnap 5 kids at one time?
I'll get to that too.
God, I want 1 kid. Imagine 5 at one time.
So you know how I told you that the cause of the fire was bad wiring? Well, the funny thing is that George, he had the wiring checked earlier in that fall, and it was deemed like the wiring was safe and it was in working order. So it didn't make sense that it was wiring. But I mean, you know, it could always...
Something can happen.
Yeah, something can happen. So...
got whole notes and everything.
This is where we're going to get into George's personal history. Yeah. So George immigrated from Italy And we all know the stereotype from Italy. The mafia. Like, everybody knows the mafia is connected somehow.
I didn't think of that.
Really?
No, you know what I thought of?
What?
Pasta.
That's a good stereotype, but the bad stereotype is like the mafia.
I was like, what are you talking about? What's the stereotype? They eat a lot of pasta and bread? What?
It's like when you think of like South America, drug dealers. Like,
no, I think
really?
I just think of food. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you say Paris, I'm going to be like, oh, snails.
Snails?
Yeah.
Snails. I would think of the Eiffel Tower. I don't know. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think of, like, the bad stereotype of, like, Italians, mafia would probably come to mind. Other than pasta and pizza.
I guess if you thought of the bad stereotype of, like, the people in France, it would be like, you hit your wife and then you fuck in the window or something.
Yeah. I don't know what that last window part was, but yeah.
You know what like, have you ever seen Ratatouille?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy, like, backhands the wife and then they start making out in the window.
I don't remember that part.
Oh my God. And Remy, the rat, he's looking at them like, what?
What is going on? Oh my God. So, because he immigrated from Italy, he joined the Fayetteville Italian community, which he was very vocal in, especially about disdain for Mussolini, which, was an Italian prime minister / dictator, whatever you view him as, which obviously sparked debates because some people didn't view him as a dictator and others did. The thing is, like, George never said why he left Italy. And usually, like, people are okay with saying, you know, like, I was seeking refuge. I was following my dreams. It was too dangerous over there. But he never said anything. So people, like, started, like, thinking, like, maybe he was, like, I don't know, like, doing something shady or something.
Maybe.
But it was just a speculation. And, you know, people, because they thought that they were like, maybe it led to, like, kidnapping of the kids, you know, because of that. So here's some possible leads to kidnapping.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So in the fall, a life insurance salesman came to the house, but he didn't sell anything, you know, was not successful, so became, like, infuriated, and he started yelling at George. This is what he yelled, quote, "Your goddamn house is going up in a smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed. You are going to be paid for the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini," end quote.
Holy shit.
I know, it's like, thanks, you told us everything. Yeah.
Did they go after that guy?
No.
What?
No.
Baby, I would have been like, it was this guy. I can tell you when he came to my house.
And, like, it happened in the fall. That's enough time to think of, like, a genius plan, you know? Yeah. So,
no. I would have been going after that guy.
Right.
Life insurance. Whatever.
So, days leading up to the fire, two of the Sodder sons, I don't know which ones, but they said that they saw a man watching the younger Sodderchildren coming home from school on Highway 21. Pretty creepy. Like, if a man is just staring, like, at your siblings, like, someone come get their man. So here's, like, some stuff that happened the night of the fire. So at 12:30 a.m. the phone rang, and Jenny, the wife, she went to go answer, and she noticed that the lights were on downstairs, which, this is important, so keep that in mind. The lights were on downstairs, and she heard a loud bang on the roof as she was falling back asleep after answering the phone, and she also heard, like, something rolling on the roof. And then an hour later, she woke up to the smell of smoke coming in her bedroom, and it was downstairs. So, if the fire was caused by faulty wires, then there wouldn't be any power.
Yeah.
So, but the lights were on downstairs.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. So obviously it wasn't the wiring. And the Sodder family even said that they saw the lights on while the fire was occurring. Well, so it couldn't possibly have been the wires. And a witness saw a man removing a block with a tackle used to remove like engines from cars. So that's like maybe like that's why the trucks weren't like working, you know? Like maybe he like messed up like the engine up or whatever. But
what trucks?
Remember the coal trucks?
Yeah.
That that George tried to get on?
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't starting.
Wow,
so like he probably like messed with it and like somebody saw a man.
Yeah.
But yeah. This police is totally corrupt. It's just my opinion. And Sylvia, who was I think 2 at the time. Yeah, she was 2. She said she found a rubber object in the yard after the fire when they saw the memorial. And Jenny, she thinks that object was what caused that like huge like bang sound, you know, that she heard on the roof. And then George, he was looking at it and like he was checking it out. And he believes that the object was a napalm pineapple bomb, which it literally looks like a pineapple, but it's a bomb. And apparently it was used like in the war during that time.
Weird.
Yeah.
You have little pineapples all over.
I do. Pineapple house. And so because Jenny didn't think like that her kids were dead, she started to experiment by burning different animal bones to test what was claimed about her children dying.
Way to go, Jenny!
And all of the animals, they left remains.
Yeah.
So none of them burned completely.
Yeah, nothing will burn completely. You got to do it a couple of times. Even like the crematory people who burn. Yeah. Okay, continue.
She went to a crematorium and like an employee told her that bones are left behind even after bodies are burned at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
For 2 hours. And the house burned for only 45 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, no, you should have seen whole fingers.
Yeah.
Wow.
So obviously, like, they weren't there.
No,
they were not there. And another thing is, like, remains of appliances were found in the rubble. So not everything was, like, complete ash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there should have been stuff.
That's
you know, it just doesn't make any sense. So now we're going to go into, like, reported sightings of the children that went missing.
Oh, so the children... Oh, my God.
So, I mean, they don't know what happened to the children, but, like, people are like, yeah, I think I saw them. Okay. So, the night of the fire, a woman said that she saw children in a car that drove away while the fire was happening.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then 50 miles west of Fayetteville, where the fire was, a woman who operated a tourist spot, she said that she saw the children the morning after the fire. Quote, I served them breakfast. There was a car with children. No, wait. There was a car with the Florida license plates at the tourist court, too. End quote. Wow. Yeah, so. Like, so many people saw them. There's, like, even this, like, woman at a hotel who, like, she saw, like, 4 out of 5 children. And that she tried to talk to them. But they were, like, accompanied by, like 2 couples or whatever. And they were Italian. Or, like, what seemed to be Italian. But they were like, don't talk to the children, whatever. So, obviously, she was like, okay, I'm not going to talk to them anymore. But, like, that, like, they left the next morning, like, really early. Wow. So, like, a couple of people saw them, you know, close to the day that they went missing or close to the day the fire started. But nobody knows for sure, you know. It's crazy.
Have there, like, been any... Well, obviously not recent, because that was way long ago. But, like 15 years later, did people, like, see them? Are you?
I'm about to guess that.
Okay.
Okay, so a few years later, George saw a photo of, like, in New York City of children in a newspaper, and he said that one of them looked like Betty. And Betty was 5 years old. So, I mean, she was probably, like, what, 8, 10, if it was a few years later. So he went to New York to investigate, and he tracked down the parents of that child that he saw in the picture, but they were like, you can't speak to us or to our child, which I totally get. Like, if some random guy came up to me and was like,
your child is my child, and be like, no.
This man is crazy, get out of here. So, I mean, it doesn't, like, seem like that crazy to me that that couple decided to, like, not talk to him. But then in 1947, George and Jenny, they try to involve the FBI, right? Because, I mean, literally, there's, you know, they have to involve the FBI.
Yeah.
If the police aren't doing anything. Here's the funny thing is that the FBI did offer to help, but the Fayetteville police and the fire department, they denied the offer. They were like, thanks, but no thanks. So.
What?
Obviously, somebody here has something to cover up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of that, George and Jenny, they turned to a private investigator. His name is C.C. Tinsley. And this is what he discovered. He discovered that a member of the coroner's jury, one of them who decided that the fire was an accident, guess who he was?
The salesman.
Yes, he was a salesman! So, like...
That's wild.
He was in the jury. What the heck? And, like, he interviewed people about the fire. And, like, the city... I heard that. That was pretty loud. Okay, so that was a loud
goal. You know what I think about sometimes? What? That laughing song that we heard when we were getting...
I don't know. It's a Japanese song. If anybody finds it, send it to us. It went like...
That was the funniest thing.
It's funny because we didn't notice it until we got quiet. We're like, what is that? Oh my god.
Okay.
So the town minister, he told Tinsley, the detective, that F.J. Morris, who was the fire chief, that F.J. Morris, he told people that he had found a heart in the house.
What?
A heart.
Like a human heart.
Like a human heart.
Ew.
And then he hid it, like, in a box, and he buried it, like, where the home was. So Tinsley, like, persuaded Morris to dig it up, but it ended up being beef liver. Yeah.
Gross.
And it wasn't even in the fire, you know? And he did it to provide closure to the family. But it's like...
No, I wouldn't want that.
Why would you do that?
If anything, I would want to see, like, a hand.
Yeah, but, like, first of all, how is it a heart? You know? Like,
yeah. No.
It doesn't
that, like,
make any
that gives
sense.
life to your child. I would not want to see that.
No.
Like, it literally pumps life through your blood.
Yeah.
Keeps you alive. I would not want to see that.
I don't think it would give closure.
No, if anything,
At
I
all.
would be, like, literally in a mess.
I'd be like, what the fuck? You know, like, what am I looking at? Yeah. So, in 1949, the Sodders hired a pathologist, Oscar Hunter, and he excavated the dirt that covered the basement and the remains of the house. And he found 4 shards of human vertebrae. So, like, the spine and stuff. And he sent it to a Smithsonian for analysis. And they hypothesized that it belonged to, like, a 16 or 17-year-old.
Was there a 16, 17-year-old in the fire?
So the oldest missing child was Maurice, and he was only 14. So it probably couldn't have been him. And there was no evidence that the bones were exposed to fire. So somebody probably, like, put them there or whatever. But the Smithsonian, they guessed that the bones were from like dirt used to fill it in, fill in the basement. You know, like it just happened to be there. And like also keep in mind, like this was before like DNA investigation even existed. So you know, there's like no for sure. So the bones, they gave them to George because, I mean, who else do you give it to? But
throw it away. Bury it.
We don't have any whereabouts of those bones, so we can't even test them now because they're gone.
Wow. I mean, those George and Betty, is that her name? Jenny. She's dead. They're dead. They're way dead.
100%. So here's kind of sketchy. So the West Virginia governor, O.K. Patterson, he called a hearing in the Capitol, and he declared the case closed. You know,
even though there was no one found.
Even though there's like no evidence.
Wow.
So George and Jenny were like, no, fuck this. You know, it's...
Her children are still out there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
they're still out there. So they set a billboard on Route 16, and that billboard stayed there for 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it had, like, a whole bunch of details of, like, what they looked like, and it had pictures, and, like, they had all, like all the facts that we just went through, like, that they found a pineapple bomb, they found, like, this. They put it on there. And they, like, in the billboard, they accused the law officers of a cover-up. Which, obviously, you would do. Because something's fishy, you know? So, obviously, the people in town, they had different theories. Like, perhaps it was the mafia. Or that the children, they were taken to Italy. Or that they were sold to an orphanage. But nobody really knows. So the Sodders, they received a letter from a woman in St. Louis saying that Martha was in a convent, which...
Yeah, that's like a Catholic.
Yeah.
Where they put
the nuns and stuff, yeah. And I forgot how old was Martha. I have it here. Martha was 12. So...
Oh.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And then someone in Florida said...
Praise God, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and like, you also never know if it is true.
Yeah.
So someone in Florida said that the children were living with Jenny's distant relatives. But George investigated all the tips that they were giving, but they found nothing. So either they were fake and people just wanted to be involved in the drama, or there was just, like, no evidence whatsoever.
Wow.
And here, this is interesting. In 1968, a tip that was given to them 23 years later, it was a picture, and it was sent to Jenny specifically. Like, not even to George and Jenny. It was just to Jenny. And it had no return address, but it was postmarked in Kentucky. And it was a picture of a man in his mid-20s. And they believed it was Lewis. And Lewis was 9 years old when the fire was.
And that, how many years? Like
23 years later.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And on the back of the picture said, quote, Lewis Sodder. I love brother Frankie, little boys, A90132 or 35. End quote. So, I don't know, we don't know what those, like, last numbers are, but apparently it did look like Lewis, too. Like, it had the same dark hair, the dark eyebrows, the sharp nose, like, it looked like him, but...
Like an Italian man.
Yeah. But he was 9 back then,
yeah.
And you grow, you look so different.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder, though, if they took a picture now, or if, no, not picture now, but, like, a picture of when he was younger, like the picture that they used on the billboard or something of him, and they, because you know they can like face.
Oh yeah, they have like that photo analysis thing.
Yeah, but like they can age you.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if they took that photo and aged him like 20 years or so.
Maybe
aged the little kid picture and compared it, what they would.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why they haven't done it.
That could be our next project. Podcast.
So, George and Jenny, they hired a detective to find this Lewis, but they never heard from the detective again. So people were like, oh, maybe he took the money and ran, or maybe they found him and they killed him, or, maybe he was also involved in some shady business, but we don't know what happened to that detective.
Wow.
Yeah. So George died in 1969, and then Jenny died in 1989. It's pretty sad. Sylvia, who was 2 at the time, she's the one that found the little pineapple bomb. She's the last remaining Sodderchild alive. And she believes that her siblings didn't die, that they were kidnapped, for sure. And apparently her kids, they're keeping the story alive, and they're like, if you find anything, send it here and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. That Sylvia, she made a promise to her parents that she would keep looking for her brothers and sisters. So Sylvia's kids are like, we'll do the same.
Yeah.
But
wow.
We don't know what happened to the kids. To the 5 missing kids.
That thing. I don't even know. If my kids went missing like that, I don't know. I don't even have kids.
I know.
But so if my nieces and nephew, if they went missing, I would be like a nutcase.
Yeah,
and that's my niece and nephew.
Them.
Yeah, that's my niece and nephew.
Yeah, and it's always so sad, when apparently, somebody died or somebody, I don't know, was kidnapped or whatever, but you don't have anything left of them.
It's just gone.
The whole house literally burned down.
You don't have any kind of memory.
Yeah, and then,
of course you have your memory, but it's
a
nice
physical
to have something.
Yeah,
and that stupid beef liver heart or whatever.
Closure?
Yeah, no. That is not closure,
I know.
excuse me.
I think that it was a salesman.
Yes, I do too.
I think
he said, go back to the quote.
He described everything. He said, quote, your goddamn house is going up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed. You're going to be paid for your dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini. End
See?
quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally described everything.
No, yeah, it was the salesman.
Yeah, I don't think he worked alone, though.
No.
Because genius plan, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think he was part of, a mafia or, some
undercover,
group, whatever. I definitely because you can't transport 5 children. I think one of them was, 14. Yeah. They're pretty old.
How do you do that without them screaming or making a noise?
Exactly. I definitely think that he was not working alone.
Yeah,
100%.
Wow.
But yeah, I like that. George and Jenny and Sylvia and her kids never stopped looking for them.
Yeah,
they were like, we need to find something, some kind of evidence that they are gone.
Yeah, that's very heartwarming. Mm-hmm. I mean, not really, because nothing was ever found, but it's nice to, if I was the missing child, it would be nice to know that someone is looking for me.
It's still looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sad, fuck. They don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And they probably won't ever know.
Yeah. That sucks. All right. How do you wrap up a podcast?
How do you? I think you just say, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, should we have a certain topic next time? Or just...
let's do...
cannibalism.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Cannibalism would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into it. Not literally. But.
All right.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.